For anyone that's joined us late, my name's Dan McCormick. I'm here in Costa Casa, California. He's Steve Hatchett. He's the vice president of the company in charge of all of our products around the globe, as well as Steve Powell, who's in charge of our devices and technologies. And if you've come in late, we welcome you. We're going to talk about the launch of something that is so unique, and hopefully these slides will help bring you up to speed on just how unique our positioning is in the marketplace in the future. So, Steve, those slides, let's carry on.
So, Dan, the big point that you brought up, and I hope everyone understands this, is that there's a lot of nutrition companies out there. There's a lot of beauty companies out there. There's very few, number one, that have connected devices. There's very few, even more, that have figured out how to integrate those beauty and wellness products. I mean, show me how many people actually have a beauty and wellness play and then actually tie into the number one beauty device system in the whole world. Just give me one, and I can tell you it's Nu Skin. So when you talk blue ocean, there is no one, and I mean no one, that can truly tell the story that we have the privilege at Nu Skin to tell. Now, the reason I brought up this Nu Skin mission, I want to make sure this is clear, because this is where we found everything that we do. Our mission is to be a global force for good by empowering people to improve lives with innovative products, rewarding opportunities, and enriching culture. Why I share this one slide is because if we're not here, if we're not doing this, then we're not doing what we want to be doing here at Nu Skin. That's why I'm here. That's why Steve's here. We both had very successful businesses. We've had a lot of fun in our lives. We've been very successful to a certain extent, if you want to call it from a business standpoint. And I don't mean that in a self-aggrandizing way. There's a reason we're here. It's because the way that the field, the leaders at Nu Skin, the people like you, Dan, Gary Ritter, Paige Riffle, all these amazing leaders who continue to day in, day out share these products with people, not just because it's a business opportunity, because they truly love how it improves people's lives. That's what it's all about. And if we can empower people, if we can help people live a better life, then that's what it's all about. So that's why this was all created. You already know about the opportunity. I'm not going to go through all that. I'm going to go right down here to, this is a whole bunch of slides. If we have time, we can go back to it if you want, but I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to stay right here. We look at wellness, and this is kind of Joe talking. If you talk about the 4 pillars of wellness, and we think about from a fitness standpoint, we want people to be able to understand, fitness level. People, weight loss is one thing, and that's important, but fitness is really where we want to be. And, some people want to lose weight, and it could be unhealthy in some cases. We want people to be their optimal health and fitness. We want people to physically be strong. We want people to be able to be in a position where when they embark on the day, they're feeling like they can go take off. I mean, like, as I told you today, feeling a little bit under the weather and so forth. And I think that's just the transition from one. I've been all over the world now. I've gone and circled the globe about 3 times in the last month. And so, I've been on the road quite a bit. And so I think it's catching up with me a little bit, but it's okay. But when you can feel that, when you don't, people say, this is the greatest comment I can ever share, is that people don't talk about health until they don't have it sometimes. And when you don't have it, or when you have a loved one that doesn't have it, suddenly it becomes pretty important. And you suddenly start worrying about it. And sometimes if we're not putting those basic fundamental building blocks in place at an early stage in life, then we start feeling those issues of metabolic waste and inflammation, all these other things that are happening in our bodies because we didn't take care of ourselves. And even if we did, it almost feels like the world's conspired against us in terms of busyness and toxins and pesticides and basically every pollutants and everything that's around us and our hustle and bustle that we have in life. It's challenging. So to continue to keep things rolling, people need to continue to have ways to support themselves. And so we look at it from fitness, physical, nutrition, about that and what we're trying to do. And then psychological, we want to know it's not just a matter of, quote unquote, physically feeling better, mentally also finding a good place. And so that's why when you look at WellSpa, and this, by the way, Dan, just so you know, as kind of a reach out to Gary, how this whole thing came together, as you well know, Dan, is that we launched in Canada. We've launched in Latin America. We've launched in Korea, in Japan. We've also launched in Europe. And I mean, the response was unbelievable. I mean, I can't believe the amount of phone calls I've received from a supply standpoint saying, how can we get more? How can we get more? How can we get more? Have something so special like WellSpa, which is truly revolutionary. There's nothing like this in the market. It's total blue ocean, as you said. You can't go into Walmart. You can't go onto the web. You can't say, oh, find me another device that can revitalize your appearance, restore your well-being, and recover and relax your body all in one device. And you'll find out why this is so important in just a second. And Steve's going to take you through that. This is truly, it's not just our first integrated wellness and beauty device providing holistic wellness and beauty benefits. There is nothing like this in the marketplace. There just is nothing. And the reason there's nothing is because there's two specific patent pending areas that Steve is going to go into. Now, I'm going to introduce Steve Powell quickly because Steve has become a dear friend of mine, but he is one of those individuals who could do anything and be anywhere. He has groups from Europe and Asia and all over the world asking him to come work for him. And he's kind of made his decision to stay right here with Nu Skin and help us. His experience in IoT and connected devices, specifically working with chipsets and those types of things, working with how these devices, how they perform on beauty, on wellness. He has so much experience. He has over, I think it's somewhere close between 30 to 40 patents worldwide. He's worked with, he's under NDA, so he can't explain, but if you could think of some of the best in the world, and it doesn't just have to be in the health and beauty side, it could be in a whole bunch of other categories, sleep and other things that he's been involved with, that he's done that has helped people live better lives. And he believes, this is his belief, he believes that Nu Skin affords the greatest opportunity to get the technologies and his ideas in the hands of the people who can share it with others in the most significant way. And that's why he's here at Nu Skin. And so we're so grateful to have somebody with his expertise, his knowledge, his background, his engineering prowess. But it's very rare that you find somebody that has knowledge in both IoT, connected devices themselves that are not connected, and being able to pull it all together and then have the complement of Joe Chang and his incredible science repository of clinical science and data. It's like it's two powerhouses coming together, and that's where you get WellSpa. So I really am excited. Steve was so kind to come on. He's there in Provo today, and he was willing to jump on here. So I'd like to introduce Steve Powell to everyone here on that has never met him before. He's by far one of the most talented individuals in the device industry in the entire world. So, Steve.
Yeah, Steve, thanks. Appreciate that. That was an awesome intro. I told Steve next time he gives me an intro, I need to record it so I could play it for people who know me. And Dan, good to see you again, and hello to everybody. Appreciate everybody's time, and I'm honored to be here with you and talk a little bit about WellSpa and some of the benefits. And so we're going to run through a few slides to kind of talk through the technology of it. But there's really 4 key advancements that we've done with WellSpa. I mean, there's several enhancements, but there's 4 real key ones that we'll dial in here. And from this one, you can see that it's the design, it's the current, it's our IO strategy with it, and it's the actual probes that we use for transferring the current between them. And we'll go through each one of those. So the first one is the actual design. For those who've actually seen it, you go to the next slide there, Steve. For those who've actually seen the device or held the device, there is nothing that feels or looks like this. A lot of microcurrent devices out on the market, it doesn't matter which market you're in, a lot of them perform, if not all of them perform about the same, look the same, function the same. There is nothing that looks the way WellSpa does or feels the way WellSpa does. It has a premium medical grade silicone sleeve around it with what's called a soft touch coating. So for those who've actually held one, it has this really premium feel to it. You're actually feeling a specialized coating to it. That's what you're actually feeling on it. Then it's wrapped with a silicone sleeve that gives a super high-end premium feel to it. But it's really quite interesting how the design came together, because when you have a microcurrent device that's just looking to transfer current to the skin, almost any design would do. But if you're looking for something that could actually have a good massage, a good movement, a good flow, and different body parts you do, and the way we run our IO strategy, there's really only one design that could probably do that, and you're looking at it. And this is one of the patents that we have filed, is for the way this design actually comes together. Something that feels super comfortable in the hand, feels really premium in the hand. It doesn't matter where you're using it on the body, but it's got enough durability and feel to it in the palm that you could actually do some really good massage or glide or movement to it. And we'll go through some of the designs later if we want to get into that. But the next area, Steve, is the actual current. This is like the heart of the device. As mentioned, there's a lot of devices out there, but the way we do our microcurrent has never been done before. One of a kind, never been done before. And here's a few of the key highlights that are on the screen. First of all, it's the only device that actually adjusts the current to your resistance on the skin. A lot of devices may do an adjustment, but they're kind of adjusting the voltage and trying to hammer you with a certain level of microcurrent. We're actually adjusting both. We adjust the voltage and microcurrent 84 times per second. That is like crazy, crazy fast. So it's looking at your skin resistance and adjusting that. So this isn't a one size fits all. Usually when you get a microcurrent device, it doesn't matter who you are, what your skin type is, what the humidity is like, what the gel's like. It's just going to hit you with microcurrent. That's all it's going to do. It won't change it no matter what it senses. This will not do it. It's the first device to do that. It will measure its resistance 84 times per second. And if it sees any reason to adjust that current, it will adjust it that fast, 84 adjustments per second. Okay. So that's about 25,000 times this current can adjust in a single routine for users to do it.
And
now,
Steve, I could just jump in, because if people aren't noticing the screen, we keep seeing that pop up there. If the gels are clustering or anything is changing and it's not getting the right current, is it telling you to slow down?
Yeah. The app will tell you to slow down. That's not what this particular screen's doing, Dan. I'm going to tell you what this one's doing. This is a little secret we got up our sleeve on this one. But
apply more gel.
Oh, yeah. So I'll have another screen where I'll get into that. We got quite a few fancy things. You're jumping ahead of me, Dan.
Sorry.
I like it, but no, you're catching some of the secret sauce we have in there. But the adjustments can happen up to 25,000 times per treatment. Imagine a microcurrent device. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you're treating, what body part, what gel. It didn't change one time on you. This one can do it like 25,000 times in a single routine. Now that is crazy optimization. That's one of a kind treatment to do that. But the cream of this thing is our comfort control. And this is some more IP that we filed about this thing. Not only will it adjust 84 times per second, but as it's adjusting super fast per second, if it ever senses that there's a jump that is too big of a jump, that it might actually give a little bit of a prickling or shocking feeling, which most microcurrent, if not all microcurrent devices do, which a lot of people hate. If it ever senses that the jump is too big that you might feel it, it will ramp it down and run an immediate complex algorithm based on where you were, where it needs to go. And somewhere between a split second to up to 5 seconds, it will ramp that microcurrent up to your optimized moment and then go back to adjusting to 84 times per second. So not only is it doing 84 adjustments per second, if there's a big jump, it will take care of that too. No one's ever done something like this before. Those are two techs in our microcurrent that's never been done. But here's the real awesome thing, Dan. We actually prove it, right? There's one thing to get on this Zoom and tell you guys it does all this crazy things. And people talk about their crazy microcurrent tech and how amazing it is. We're the first company to ever give a digital experience with it that actually shows you in real time what the microcurrent is doing at the exact moment it does it. And this representation is live right now in the Vera app. So we'll go through some of the tutorials here in a minute, but in this particular screen you're seeing here, that blue circle that you're seeing that's flashing down to the bottom, the bigger the blue, the more microcurrent. This is a recording of an actual treatment. And what it's showing you is as the microcurrent's moving, it's getting bigger, smaller. That's what it's actually seeing. The thing that just popped up, which is the serum alert, is another little thing we have in there, Dan. If it senses the gel has gotten too dry, and I'll get into that in a little bit here. It has another algorithm that's actually watching just the gel all by itself to see how well that gel is performing, and we'll let you know if you need to reapply. But in the app right now, it's one thing to say that this tech is working. It's another to show people or see with your own eyes what it's doing. And as you move this around on different body parts or different gelled areas, you will see it move immediate. You know, talk is cheap, but being able to show this in real-time data, No one's ever done any of the stuff you're seeing on the screen, these things that we're talking about. No one's ever done any of them before. We're not just doing it, we're also showing you that we're doing it. It's really interesting how this is coming together. Steve, we go to the next one, we'll talk about the IO hookup of this. And
before you do, Steve, I just wanted to mention two quick things. The reason why this is so important is we know that the world is looking towards personalization. Between 70 to 80% of people are looking for a more personalized experience with their wellness and their beauty. We know that. We've done global surveys, Euromonitor, and everyone else who have completed these reports show a unique personalized experience. They also want a connected experience where they can understand what's going on and insights that help them. One of the things that isn't talked about here, but as it's giving this adjustment, it has to receive feedback. And one of the feedback loops it has is those little nodes are taking 150 insights per second plus 150 insights per second to understand what is going on as it's going over your skin and how much pushback are we getting, or resistance, as they say. And so what that means is, if you're up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, or if you're down in St. George, Utah, or if you're in Ghana, Africa, all that will affect the temperature, the humidity. All these things will have a play on every single application. Now, in addition to that, everybody's BMI is different. Body mass index, everybody's fat level is different. Everybody's muscle level is different. Everybody's skin's different. And their controlled temperature. Some people are in a high humid environment, some people are in a low humid environment. Steve will get into this in just a second. But the reason I bring this up is the key we're trying to do, and why all of this at the end of the day is all a bunch of features and benefits. But why do we do it? It's because we want to be able to get the current to the most optimal space on your body, because our body's made up of electrons. And a lot of people say, well, electricity. No, your body already is this massive amount of electrons. And if we can get those electrons, if we can get them sequenced and aligned, then that enables this fluid flow. This enables the contouring. This enables the recovery. This is the magic. And so not only does it demonstrate it, not only does it show it, but it actually optimizes it to every single person. Because once it goes onto your skin, it says, okay, I've got this much skin tissue, I've got this much muscle tissue, I've got this much fat tissue, and I want to get to this very specific spot on this person's body, and it's going to be different. And it's actually different on every part of your body. So when you're doing your arm, it's going to do a different level of current than when it does it on your leg. It changes, and it constantly changes, and Steve will talk about that. The reason I bring this up is because we've always known through our galvanic spa, facial spas, and from our body spas that there's a value in these currents and what it does to our bodies and so forth, and it helps it. This takes it so much further. The technology and the advancements that have come in here, it's no longer even part of that family. It's evolved to a completely different technology, and that's why Joe Chang was saying we cannot continue to talk about this from just a beauty angle. It is a wellness angle. And in fact, when we look at the amount of treatments people are using globally, the number one reason people are using this product is wellness. They're seeing a difference in wellness and the way that they use it from a wellness standpoint. And they use it on a daily basis, and they're using it every single day. It is so fantastic. So think about this not just from the traditional way we've looked at it before, which is we're talking about skin, we're talking about contouring. Yes, it does all of that. But more importantly is the wellness aspect that really is significant and plays a huge role here. So I just wanted to mention that so that we had that information before. So I'll go ahead and put this to the next slide for you, Steve.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that. Okay, the third part is the actual IO, or the digital experience. And for those who've had Lumi Spa, it's similar, but it's been upped. Okay, so first of all, our pairing experience is, I would say, among the most premium, or probably the most premium in the competition. Right? We do what's called like an under the hood pairing. So when you first get the device, when people go to pair that up, they'll of course create their Vera account. But when it comes time to pair it, Vera actually looks to see if there's one nearby and it will see it and go grab it, pair it, and it usually takes somewhere between like 3 to 5 seconds. Super, super fast. This type of pairing process is like a premium way to do it. It's like an extra code, an extra way to go about it, but consumers love it. Our pairing experiences, we paired up, I think we're in the tens of thousands, right? Just out of the gates. Not one single complaint so far. It is crazy how well this is performing on the pairing. There, as far as what it's got some pretty interesting options that we've got. We've got your usage score and your tracking, which we've had on Lumi Spa, so people can see how they're doing. They can earn rewards and things like that. But we've added a routine library where you can actually go in and you can toggle between, wellness or these revitalizing or gym, routines and different body parts. So you can actually go in and say, I want to do this one, or I'm feeling like that one, and actually track those. And it will tell you how to do it, where to do it, how long to do it, and it will start everything for you. It is a crazy premium experience for people to do. And if that wasn't enough, and the blue circle that shows you the current wasn't enough, there's one thing we wanted to do to see if we could just blow this thing out of the water, right? All these things are things nobody's doing, but we wanted to just like take it to the next level. And if Steve, you'll take it to the next thing. And this is what we call our Empower Insights. And I'll walk through this. I don't know if that's your cursor, Steve, if you can kind of hover through as I talk through these graphs here. But this is kind of on a loop, but this is an actual real treatment that you guys are seeing playing here. This is actually my treatment that I did. And I'll walk through what you can actually do. And this is live right now in Vera. Never done before, first of its kind. But there's one thing to show people what the microcurrent's doing, and there's another to actually map it. And so what we wanted to do is for people who wanted to maybe geek out or like really get into the technical aspect of this, which we're finding pretty much everybody does because it's quite interesting. What is all the things that are actually going on with this microcurrent device? Okay, so the first graph is an actual real-time line graph of the microcurrent as it's going.
Hey, Steve, sure. Real fast, right when you start, just so everybody can think about this before, because I've talked about this just briefly. Think about this from a demo mode standpoint. Think about this when you're in somebody's home and people are saying, well, okay, help me understand why I should do this and how does it really know me and so forth. And this is why you can actually show real time, because a lot of times you'll show a device, you'll say, hey, it works, it's really great. This is a show and tell, and you actually can see those insights real time. You lift it up, you actually changes, everything changes. And so this is the most powerful demonstration device or product I've ever seen in my entire 31 years doing this. Ever. So you may only need to do this once or twice and never have to come back to the app again and so forth, because the power really is here and in the consumables. But once you see it, it blows you away. So I just want to make sure, think of this from a demo standpoint when you're with a friend or a family member. Here comes Thanksgiving, here comes family event opportunities and so forth. This actually is seeing is believing, and you can actually see the results right here. So that's why I think this is so important.
And Steve, I'll jump to both Steves. I think that we want to make sure that this app is available only in Canada and the other countries that now launched. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's not available for the US yet. US is not, we do not have clearance on the US yet. And we want to make sure, and thanks, Dan, for clarifying that. We do not have clearance in the US yet. So this is, as I mentioned at the very beginning of the call, this is a Canada call today, although we know people from the US are involved and are listening and so forth. But this is more focused on those who are in Canada and what they would see if they were in Canada.
Perfect. Steve Powell, carry on.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Yeah. So along the demonstration purpose, and you guys will see it as I talk through these, but something that you could show to somebody, or even yourself, seeing is believing, but to show to somebody that demos that the device does exactly what we claim it does. Nobody has anything like on their wellness or beauty products that does that. This is like a first of its kind that does this. So the first graph there is the microcurrent graph. The second one, which is called the waveform, this one is like just crazy on the waveform side. This is an actual look of what our waveform looks like in real time as it's being applied, okay? And typically, in order to measure these, there's a machine, industrial equipment that's called an oscilloscope, and these can range anywhere from $8,000 up to $15,000, depends on how premium they get, that actually map electrical currents, right? And the challenge to the team was, what if we actually put the waveform in the app? And it was accurate, right? Could that actually be done? This was like crazy. No one's ever even tried to do something like this. And so we went about some pretty complex algorithms that are on the device right now. And this data, as it's coming off the device right now, this is actually streaming the Well Spa. It sends out 156 data points every second to Vera. And in those are complex algorithms that are proprietary to Nu Skin, and it's spitting out 156 of these per second. When Vera gets that, it then takes those and has other complex algorithms that spit it into these graphs that you're seeing and interprets these data. And the one in the waveform is particularly complex. But what you're actually seeing is a real-time measurement of the voltage in our waveform. You can see that it does 10 pulses up, 10 pulses down, or it's a biphasic alternating. And it's showing the voltage. As the voltage goes up, those will grow. And you'll see the current graph will go down. But once we got this put together and ran it through our algorithms, the challenge was how accurate was it to our actual $15,000 scope we got here in the office? And so we put them head to head and did some treatments on them to compare them. The Vera app is within 98% accuracy of a professional oscilloscope. That's how crazy accurate this thing is. This is a ton of fun. For people who don't get into that level of the tech, they probably like, that's okay. But for people who are into the tech, they're probably thinking that is crazy difficult to do that. And so we hope that's a lot of fun when you guys demo this. The next one down that you'll see is called the comfort events. When I was mentioning our tech, how it adjusts 84 times per second. And if it ever sees a resistance that's too big that the voltage has really got to jump, when it does that, it will, every time it does that during a treatment, it will keep track of that, and it's called a comfort event. And I think one of them actually happens at this demo, so you'll see it actually tick and what it looks like when a comfort event happens. But each time that happens, that's on that graph there. And this can happen anywhere from maybe 2 times up to 40 times, right? There's no right or wrong number of comfort events. It's your treatment. It's whatever it sensed it needed to do. Then the microcurrent adjustments, that is not fake. It's an actual real-time calculation of every time it made an adjustment on your skin. And it's crazy fast. I mean, it looks like it clocks up super, super fast. But that's what it's seeing in real time. This was an actual treatment on me. The next one is the product meter. On the blue circles, I know somebody asked, what did the yellow mean? That was when the serum, it detected the serum was dried up or at a point that was probably too dry that you needed to reapply it. This is a real-time meter. And it's super, super accurate. So when you guys get this, or if you've got it and you've played with it, you can put the gel on your arm. And as you move to a drier area or a less gelled area, that meter will drop in real time. But if it ever gets to where it just needs to have reapplication, it will hover in that and will pop an alert up for people to see that. And the last one is those are 3 movements. It's the XYZ graph. It's more just for fun, but it's an actual live stream of the movement of the accelerometer that's inside the device. And we've got some fun things that we'll be doing with that in the future, but we went ahead and put in live stream in it just so people could see that it's in there. But this is something, Dan, that we hope people just absolutely love. There was a crazy amount of work that went into this, right? So when you think about any premium beauty brand or wellness brand, nobody's live streaming the actual treatment data into the app. Nobody's doing that. We're the first ones to do something like this, and not just on like a basic level, right? I mean, some people may say, well, it's on, it's off, it's level 3, it's level 4. We're giving you actual real-time measurements at 200 millisecond intervals of live stream data that you can put. So whether you're using it or you're demoing it, nobody has anything like this. It's just crazy premium, the experience that's in there. And then Steve, if you want to go to the last one, and the last one, of course, is the metallic nodes on the bottom, the probes. Pretty much every device that's out there that does microcurrent are like sphere shaped. They're round, they're ball shaped, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. It's been the industry standard. But when you're looking for a device that's going to be able to transfer microcurrent appropriately and have a great massaging effect or movement effect or circulation or whatever, all these different applications that it could be done, right? So you go into the routine library, there's like 13 or 16 routines you can do right now. They're all different. None of them are the same. And can you really do that with a device that's just got a shape that doesn't allow for that? You've got to have something different, on the base, something that's actually touching the skin. It can't be the same old routine. It's got to be something different. And so this is another patent we filed on here, Dan, that will be some interesting IP, which is actually the design of how these come together. The way they're plated, the way they're shaped, the way they're contoured, the way they are positioned is all to be able to allow you to use it anywhere, put the proper contact, the proper distance in the contact, and the proper movement as you're moving it across the skin. There's nothing like this. Nobody's ever done anything like this as well. And so from top to bottom, like the design all the way down to the probes and all the tech that's under the hood, there is just some crazy innovations that we put in this. So when Steve says this is just like, like a once in a lifetime device, this is some really fun. It's crazy to be a part of this. It's been so fun to build this thing, but to see it come together and do everything as advertised, and then people can turn on the app and actually watch it do what you just said it's going to do. Like, it's pretty tough to find anything like that on the market. This is crazy fun to be a part of it. So Steve, that's a quick rundown of the highlights of that. I don't know if you have anything you want to add on to that.
I got to jump in, Steve Hatchett, Steve Powell, because I know if I'm going to quote Steve Powell here, and if I misquote Steve Powell, you can correct me, but I believe when you come out with a device, your goal is to win every possible award with the device. Now, LumiSpa has done that, and I'm confident next year at this time, when we have this in all 48 markets in the world, that we're going to be seeing this, because the presentation tonight is truly geeked out. When I say blue ocean strategy, what's interesting about the studies when you go blue ocean, out of 100 companies that start, according to the Harvard studies, if 82 of them start in their red ocean, meaning they're a coffee shop, they're a gas station, they're a convenience store, whatever, there's something that everybody else can do, the 18 that are blue ocean outproduce all other 82 combined. This is a massive opportunity for every one of us. I believe 133 of us, last I checked, 130th on this Zoom presentation right now. And so I just totally geeked out. So Steve Hatchett, last thing, maybe either one of you want to comment. If I'm not mistaken, if we can take it off slide mode, we have the clinically proven serum, which is a major university. I'm not sure if you're coming out with those studies yet, but we have the serum for cellulite. We have the activating body gel, as well as the body polishing gel. And then I believe we have the multi-beauty product, which is an ingestible product that'll make all of these things work better. Correct me or add anything you'd like to any of the 3 or 4 products that we have that goes with it.
That's why I put these slides in here. We actually did have a couple of these in. You're right. There's a couple of other products we can add, but these are the main ones. The activating gel predominantly is focused on the wellness aspect of it. The serum is more focused on the contouring, and the polish is that nice finish for the skin and so forth. It's just incredible. In fact, we've had more people talk to us about the polish, and they just used it by itself and with the Well Spa. It's incredible. But there is a couple of other products that are coming. It's a little bit of a teaser for you, Dan, but there's a couple other products that are coming that you're going to see. We've actually done studies with the multi-beauty. We've also done studies with coming in with collagen. We've also done some studies with 2 other products that are coming, and you'll see those coming in 2024. And these are consumables that you're going to love. It's just incredible. And the results we're seeing with those consumables, it's just, as you mentioned earlier, this could be our single largest category in the history of the company. I mean, literally, if I was going to start today, I'm thinking scanner, Well Spa, let's go. Yeah. Let's go challenge the world. But it's absolutely, it's to answer Steve's question though. I just want to make sure I mention this last thing is yes, there's a lot of science here. Yes, there's a lot of information here, but when you look at ageLOC and you look at how it started and people are trying to understand ageLOC and basically how that works and so forth, it's going to take a little bit of time for everybody to understand it. Those people who get ahead of it are going to change the game. When you think about all those cell phones that were out there forever and a day, and they were cell phones, and that's what they did. And it took somebody like Steve Jobs to say, wait a second, do people just want a cell phone? Cell phones are out there and there's a million of them. That's red ocean. What's blue ocean? Blue ocean is taking a connective device that basically can go onto the internet that can play all the songs I want to listen to. And it's also a phone, and it's simple, it's easy to use, and it's kind of fun. And once he connected those 3 things, it changed the world. And I know that people say, well, wow, that's pretty extreme statement. No. What Steve Powell and Joe Chang have done here, in my personal opinion, is the equivalent of what the iPhone did for Apple. It's doing it for Nu Skin here, where the 3 things that people have been so focused on. You ask people, we've talked about time and time again, right, Dan? What do you do to help people? You say, where's your biggest pain point? Where's your biggest opportunity for growth? And where's the things that are really the top of mind items for you? And you get those 3. And we know that recovery, we know that revitalization, and we know that contouring is the things that are top of mind for everybody. That's where their pain points are. That's where their frustrations are. And to be able to have pulled this all together and have science to back it up along with demonstrations to show it, it's like, I mean, we will be talking in a year from now. The problem that we've got is there's no category for this. There's no award category for this right now because there's nobody who's gotten an award on this because nobody's actually been in this category really the way that we've done it. And so you'll see that's how unique it is and how powerful it is. And when I was in Korea just recently, and I was doing a demo with there's like 6,000 people there in this huge stadium, and we were talking to them. It was just incredible. You have an opportunity. We've been through COVID, and we've been through all this frustrating time where we've kind of been sequestered in our homes. And the reason I bring this up, Dan, I know we're at the top of the hour, but I want to say this: we're a community. You know, Ryan and I were just in China, and we were talking with our top leaders in China. We were talking, the one thing that Nu Skin has, the uniqueness that Nu Skin has that nobody else has, is this community of people who are trying to really do something special. And people say, well, a lot of people have that. Yes, they do, but not like Nu Skin. To be a force for good, to have a powerful impact in Malawi, to have a powerful impact on people in China who children are getting heart assessments, to be able to help save lives over there, to be involved in giving somebody the only meal they possibly could get in the entire day, right here. And on top of all that, wellness, beauty, leading edge beauty device systems that help people live, look, and feel better. And the immortal words of Shadong, last time I was talking to him on Thursday, he says, we want people not just to look, live, and feel better. We want them to look, live better longer. And that's really what this is all about. This is, in my opinion, the single best product, if you want to call it that. It sounds cheap to even call it a product, a device system that I've ever seen in my entire life. I literally won't go a day without using it. It's fantastic, and it's just a privilege to be on the call, talk to you guys about it.
Well, you guys, your time is unbelievable. You're traveling the globe. I get it. I mean, it's like amazing what you guys do to serve and to connect. And I love a presentation that tells me where we came from, where we are, but I love it that where we're going is what you shared, and the type of blue ocean solution we're solving, as you gave the Steve Jobs example so beautifully. And so on behalf of all of our listeners tonight, if in fact anything was said to some of the folks that tonight were new and we didn't get a chance to answer questions tonight, I get it, because our slide presentation and all there's so much. I mean, this is a multi-hour presentation once you get into Q&A. And so certainly reach out to the person that invited you to be here. Don't delay another day. If you're in Canada tonight and you want to know how do you get in line for this launch, Bill will tell you that. If you're in any of the other markets in the world and you want to sell into Canada, our people will be here to teach you how to do that. And so we're just excited that you could make the time to be here tonight. All of our guests, our listeners, our friends, our associates, we truly look forward to continuing to educate, update, and be a great example to the world and be the force for good that Steve closed with here, what our mission statement truly is around the globe. Steve Powell, thank you. Steve Hatchett, thank you. God bless you all. Have a beautiful evening. We look forward to being back with you next time. Bye for now.